Sister Arunima is about to come up and share with us some of her experiences. Yesterday evening, when she was talking about her getting admitted to the college, I was reminded of a very funny incident of one of my Sai brothers, again a musician who studied in Swami's schools and a wonderful composer of Swami's bhajans. Before he came to Swami's college, he was actually in a rock band in the northeastern part of India. And so when the first time he came to Puttaparthi seeking admission to the college, he came to the school principal and said, "Sir, I'd like to be admitted." And of course, you can imagine him being part of a rock band. He had long hair and an unshaven stubble and had tight jeans. And so the first thing the principal said was, "Please go and have a haircut, clean yourself up, and then come and talk to me." So this boy goes out, gets a haircut, gets clean shaven, wears whites, comes back and says, "Sir, I'd like admission into your institution, into Swami's institution." And the principal is not so sure. The principal gives different reasons, but then this boy is very, very persistent. The principal then throws out one last excuse for why this boy should not be admitted. The principal says, "Look, you come from a part of India where the standard of education is very low. You've just finished your freshman year in college, but the standard of English that you are taught in your university is actually not very high. You will struggle in this university. So if you actually, even if we decide to give you admission, you'll have to repeat your freshman year. You'll have to lose a year, repeat your freshman year if you were to join this college." This boy smiles and said, "Sir, actually you don't know how bad my education has been. I actually can't even speak 2 sentences in English properly. I actually believe I should start from 11th grade. I should actually go back to 11th grade and start from 11th grade." The principal is extremely confused now because the very reason that you thought would dissuade this boy, actually this boy says, "I want to lose 3 years instead of 1. And then the boy says, "Sir, for me, living with God is education, and the longer I can live with God, the more I will learn from him. So if it means 3 more years with Swami, please put me in 11th grade." That's the yearning, which is why Swami so proudly declares, "My students are my property." With those words, let us again welcome back Sister Arunima. Sai-Ram.
Thank you. Sai-Ram, everybody. Once again, my good fortune, and I will not miss it even if I am given another chance to speak, because I believe in this. To stand here and speak to you at this moment, exactly at this moment, we are with Bhagavan, and that makes it the greatest. I'm a little unfortunate at this moment, I feel, because I missed a wonderful talk given by Dr. Upadhyay, for whatever reason it may be. But again, thanks to the technology that we have the CDs, and I'm going to get one, and I'm happy about that. Now, this afternoon, I thought I will share definitely some more experiences that I had with Bhagavan, but this is going to be exclusively what I have learned from him. Bhagavan as my teacher, my guide. He's everything to us, but I separated this aspect from my experiences to share with you now. Just a few of them I thought I must share. How Bhagavan touched my life as a guru, guide, master. I have been fortunate enough to get a good education when I was small. I had a number of good teachers to teach me many things when I was at school, good manners, and many more. But then you ask me how it is to learn from Bhagavan directly. I have to tell you, that's altogether a different thing. First thing, we learn lessons of life with Bhagavan, not subjects. Life itself is a big school. And when we have to learn lessons of life from Bhagavan, not a joke. Not a joke, I tell you. He could be the most stern teacher you can ever think of. He could be the most loving teacher you could ever think of. So both extremes, I'm sure all the students experience in their life, time and again. And that's the way Bhagavan teaches. And that's the way we learn it. We don't need any textbook. We don't need any notebook. We don't need any pen. We don't need any pencil. Directly they are imprinted in our hearts. And they are remembered forever. That is how Bhagavan teaches. And that is the students. Yes, students are definitely fortunate, I must say, that they are able to learn directly under his physical guidance. But time and again, all the devotees, all those who know Bhagavan have these kind of trainings. They have to undergo training. So we all are actually taking training under his spiritual guidance. The spiritual aspirant doesn't know how much learning is required. It is not 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, lifelong training. No weekends, no holidays. Every moment is a moment of learning. We all are learning. And here, let me say one more thing, that I have been in teaching profession for many years. I know exactly how difficult it is sometimes to convey a very simple idea to the students. How difficult it is just to translate certain things. But you ask Bhagavan, he knows the best way, the perfect time, and exactly how much to teach. And that's how I have been very fortunate to learn for 24 years under his guidance again. And this really, when I ruminate and I go back to my past experiences and my time that I spent with Bhagavan, as students I had a different experience. As a teacher I had a different experience. As a high school student I had a different experience. As a senior student, again, a different experience. So all different phases of experiences that I had, and all these made me understand Swami so well. I mean, whatever he wanted me to understand, I don't say or claim that I did understand and I know exactly what Swami is. He teaches subtly, he teaches in a very stern way, he teaches, you can expect anything from Bhagavan. And the best part of his teaching is, you don't know when you are going to be given the training, when it's going to come to you for you to learn. That is the most beautiful part of it. Now here, when I go back to down the memory lane, and this is, of course, the usual practice with the students, that every batch that graduates every year from the university, Sri Sathya Sai University, they are blessed with beautiful interviews from Bhagavan. And these interviews that we have had with Bhagavan, and the students have even now, they are so wonderful. Those moments, I tell you, with Bhagavan are the best moments that we have ever had. He would teach us so beautifully. And those were the moments where we were about to leave the portals of the college and go to the world. All those days we were held by him, like how the mother holds the child. And now the child has learned to walk, so the mother leaves her to walk alone. And how much ever, assurance she gives to the child, don't worry, you won't fall, you walk. But the child looks back and turns and waits to be held by the mother again. The child is scared to leave the mother and walk alone. I think that's the exact experience each of the students has when he or she leaves the institute. So was with us. So when we were about to leave, fortunately, I had 4 of these experiences, because I secured 4 different degrees. So after every degree I secured, I had a chance to have an interview, not to go out, only to come back. Once again, a second interview, not to go out, to come back. and the third, and the fourth. So when the fourth one came, I thought, that's it. There's no other course that I can do in this college. Over. Now I have to really go out. And let me tell you, every time I entered, it was not my will. It was his will. He came to me and, in these interviews, you would ask Swami what to do next. Please tell us, Swami, how to be in the world and things like that. And then Swami would come and tell, go get married, go and join some work, go and help your parents. To some, he would say, go and listen to your parents, whatever they say. To me, he would come and say, come back, come back, come back. And I feel very fortunate that every time he told me to come back, because I had yet to learn some more lessons, And then when my masters were over, when my professional degree was over, the B.Ed course I finished, I said, Swami, I have finished everything, now what? He said, I will tell you. And then he didn't tell me anything, so I went home. And after 2 months, I thought, let me just come and have Swami's darshan, because I was really missing him, having stayed with Swami, getting education under him, and then going back home. I was not able to fit myself in the home atmosphere even. So when I came back, I was called for an interview by the vice chancellor and the registrar of the university. And then they asked me, you are going to be given a faculty position. Are you ready for that? I said, what, ready? Do we need to be ready for that? What kind of a blessing it is? Then I said, no, I'm not ready. Then the registrar said, why? Don't you know it's a lifetime fortune? I said, that's why I'm not ready. I'm not able to believe that I can really teach. Then again, he said, who says that you are going to teach? It is he who will guide you. You are just an instrument. Remember that every time. With that knock, I entered again and lived there for 16 long years. However, a wonderful, wonderful time that I had with my Lord. And some of the best of the lessons that I have learned from him, the first thing, he would say, not only those times when we would be interviewed by him, or he would call us for a close talk, close chat, even otherwise, whenever he used to come to college, he would talk to us, so lovingly, like a mother. He would say, when you girls go out, I know when boys go out of the college, I don't worry about them, because I know that after all, they're boys. But when you girls go out, I have a lot of worries. You have to conduct yourself so well. People will not say you are the daughter of so-and-so. They will say you are Swami's students. So your designation changes once you study under this, in my college. Therefore, you have to be very careful. You have to conduct yourself well. Not too much, not too less. You have to really walk on a razor's edge, he would say, And we were like, my God, what would happen to us? Where we'll go? So every student is, in one state at that time. And then Swami, especially to the girl student, in connection to the girl student, I would like to share these experiences because that's what is my experience. Swami used to tell, many of the students would ask Swami what to do next. Then Swami said, go home. First thing, ask your parents what they want you to do. And if they want you to get married and settle down, do that. And then he used to emphatically say again, be good homemakers. Be good homemakers first. And then Swami would say that, see, to be a homemaker, you shouldn't say that, why education then? If I have to stay at home and cook, I don't need education. And why Swami's opened such a big, first college is a girls' college in the 60s that Swami had opened it. For what reason? To make us homemakers? And then Swami says, definitely, because educating a girl is educating a family. She learns all the values, and she is going to teach the values to the whole family. And I want you all to do that. That is why I have opened. Yes, you have to work, I know that. But keep that as secondary. If it is very, very necessary, join the work. But your home, your husband, your children, your in-laws come first. So keep that in mind. So that is one lesson which Swami very, very often tells the students. He used to tell us, he tells even now. And another very important thing that Swami taught us when we were in the college, he would come and he would say, if you have to stay at home or work at home, don't think that you are away from spiritual practices. You shouldn't complain saying that, oh Swami, my whole time goes looking after my child and my husband and all the house chores. I don't have time to do any spiritual activities. I can't go for seva. I can't go for anything even to attend bhajan. It's difficult. Swami tells us this. Not that somebody has complained to Swami. He is already imagining the complaints and he's telling us. And then he tells us, don't think even that way, because even while doing minimal work at home, let's say cooking, he would say so sweetly that when you cook, you can practice the best path of yoga, that is, cooking is the best path of yoga. How to connect it? That would be a little difficult for us to understand. And then Swami would say, when you are preparing a dish, you are thinking what ingredients to put. You are trying to figure out how much quantity to use. You are practicing the path of gnana, wisdom. And then when you are in the process of cooking, you are practicing the path of karma. And when you finished cooking, you serve with a lot of devotion, praying to God, and you serve the food to your family members with a smile and with a good heart. You are actually practicing bhakti path, that is devotion. So you are actually doing bhakti, karma and gnana, all three, just by your cooking. And then he would tell us, do you all know how to cut vegetables? Yes, Swami, we know. Because in our hostel, these are the regular practices. Every student has to involve doing all this. And then he would say, when you cut vegetables, you just think that you are cutting your egos. And when you roll chapati, you think that you are stretching your heart. That your heart is full of love. And then these little things that he used to connect with, these kind of work. And we used to really enjoy Swami telling this. And definitely it is worthy. I tell you, because we do practice even now. I can tell that. So this is how he taught us how to, even the simple act can be raised to spiritual height by putting value to it. That's how we should work, he would say. And then, not that always things are so simple as I said. Sometimes he knew how to do it the other way also. And he would often tell us, look, when you are at home, don't think that you are free from any problem. You have a lot of enemies, they are trying to enter your house and break into your house and steal the things. And you should be very careful, don't allow them. What he meant is, house here he meant the body, and the enemies he meant ego, jealous, pride, and all those things, right? So he said, keep them at bay. Don't allow these qualities to disturb you. But then we human beings know how difficult it is to keep our ego away, especially the ego, jealousy, pride, or hatred. But then these are the things which Swami often mentioned, that we are supposed to keep them at bay. Whatever is the situation, we should not allow them to disturb us. Now, I would like to share one experience. Again, this is connected to Akhanda Bhajan. I told you every Akhanda Bhajan was a memorable Akhanda Bhajan for me that I had. And somehow this year, before Akhanda Bhajan, we usually have a lot of practice for Akhanda Bhajan. Because we had to we would be singing for 24 hours, and we would have 2-3 teachers to guide us, and we would set our bhajans, each one some 10 bhajans, from the month of June, July. Can you believe? Akhanda Bhajan is only in the month of November. So from that early time, we would start our practices, because we should sing well before Bhagwan. No compromise, nobody can say that, oh, I couldn't sing well because I didn't have practice. But I somehow, having had a lot of chance to sing with Bhagwan, took it for granted that year, and I didn't practice much. Actually, I had to learn a lesson there. And what happened was I suddenly developed a kind of phlegm, a kind of heaviness in my throat just the day before Akhanda Bhajan. And the next day, Akhanda Bhajan would start at 6 o'clock in the evening. From morning, I completely lost my voice. I was not even able to speak. I was whispering. And then I was thinking, I became serious at that time, First of all, I didn't have any practice. And then at that point, when I lost my voice, I ran to the hospital, General Hospital in Prashanti Nilayam, and I found a doctor. I said, doctor, please give me some very strong antibiotics because something should be done about it. And then she said, it's not going to work. You are a fool actually to take antibiotics at this moment. I said, it is just for my own self you give because I want to be, I want to feel that I've done something about it. In spite of her telling not to take, I did. It worsened. I had a throat pain, I had a fever, but I sat for bhajan. And as I mentioned yesterday that every Akhanda Bhajan, I would be the one to start from the ladies' side. And when my turn came, I was not able to sing, so I gave the mic to another lady next to me. I said, you sing instead. Then the teacher who was in charge, she said, what's happening? I said, madam, I'm not able to sing. My throat is just fully closed. I'm not able to even bring out my voice. Then she said, how is that? I said, yes, I don't know. Suddenly something happened. I'm not able to sing. She said, okay, wait for a while. Maybe it will become all right. Then you sing in the night. Mics are on till 8:39. After that, in the night, they put off the mics. They used to put off, even now they put off in the mandir for Akhand Bhajan. And next day morning, again, just before Swami comes to the mandir, they put it on. So till then, I sat, nothing happened. I lost all the chances to sing bhajan. Swami was going on looking at me. With all compassion, he was looking. And then I thought, okay, tomorrow morning is there. Tomorrow whole day is there. I'll get a chance to sing. And usually we get chance to sing some 7 to 8 bhajans right before Swami, when Swami is sitting on the throne. I missed already 3 chances that night. Next morning, I got up. I thought maybe after a good sleep, my throat will be better. It was hoarse in the morning. I couldn't recognize my own voice, that it was mine. Far from singing, I was not able to talk. Then somebody told me, you drink hot milk with a little bit of turmeric powder added to it. I said, okay. I did even that. Then somebody said something else. I did that. No way. Swami had to really teach a lesson. And then I started crying. I said, Swami, I'm very sorry. I know I didn't practice. I took it for granted and I thought it's so easy to sing before you. And Swami, please help me. Please help me. Only you can do it. Nothing happened. Then suddenly in the afternoon I felt, yes, a little bit, I could manage to sing. And then I sang a bhajan only with 2 lines. The bhajan was the easiest because I didn't want to take chance and spoil. Swami was not there, but just to sing, just to check my voice, how it was, I sang. I got scared of my own voice, listening to my own voice. I said, no, I will never do it again. I didn't get a chance. So in 24 hours, I got a chance to sing only half or 1 bhajan, let's say. And this was too painful for me because I hadn't had this kind of experience till then. This was the first time. I was not able to take it. After bhajan was over, Akhanda Bhajan was over, usually Swami comes and talks to us and, tells us how was the bhajan and everything. And Swami came. I was not even able to look at him. My eyes were swollen and I was simply crying. And then he came and stood before me. He didn't talk to me. He looked, he was talking to the lady next to me. And the lady who sat next to me happened to be a very famous playback singer from South India, P. Sushila. So she was sitting next to me, and then Swami looked at her and Swami said, Sushila, students sang very well, right? Then she said, yes, Swami, I enjoyed the bhajans. And then Swami, showing me, Swami's telling, especially she sang so well. I enjoyed her bhajans. I just looked, and I'm sure Mrs. P. Sushila also got a shock because she knew that I didn't sing. And she just looked at me, and then Swami was telling that poor thing, they have so much of practice. From the month of June, they start practicing, and see how well they sing. With all that practices, they sing so well. I had only to look at Swami, because he was so close, his robe was on my sari. I could even get, Swami's divine, that vibration I was able to get on me. But all that didn't work at that moment because I was so much at pain, And then he looked at me, he said, how did you sing? I said, Swami, I didn't sing well. He said, I know. You should practice, he said, A simple, profound lesson that I learned from Bhagwan at that moment, he taught me. It was a hard way, but at the same time, it was so loving way that he said, curb down your ego. Don't take that pride that you're able to sing. If I touch this, you will not be able to speak even. So don't think that it is you who is singing. And that was one experience that I had. Swami's ways and Swami's teachings, so subtle. One more experience to share with you. This is not mine. This is one of the students, men students of Prasanthi Nilayam campus. He had just joined the college at that time. He was with his parents. He took the test, that entrance test, and he was selected. And he was so overjoyed that he could get a seat in Swami's institute. And he was so happy. And after he got a seat, and Swami had called all of them for an interview. That is, his parents. He had not joined in the college, but he got a seat, of course, that time. Swami called them for an interview, that boy's family, and many other people. And in the interview room, Swami was telling so many things, and this boy was all the time just looking at Swami. He was so shocked that, he said, he was thinking, Swami, you are Lord Vishnu, you are Lord Narayana, and I'm just a, ordinary person. I'm sitting before you and I'm listening to you. And that was his first interview with Bhagwan, and so he was he was literally spellbound, and he was looking and enjoying Swami. Half the time he was not listening or he was not really looking what Swami was doing. And then after Swami finished talking to everybody, there were lots of groups and some people from overseas, so many from other countries also were there. So once Swami finished the interview, talking to them, he stood up, and usually there's a practice that Swami distributes vibhuti packets, right, after the interview is over. So Swami went and picked up the vibhuti basket that was kept on the window sill, and then as soon as Swami picked that up, one of the men from the overseas group, stood up and ran to Swami and held that bag. And he said, Swami, let me hold it for you. And then Swami, looked at this gentleman. He said, very happy, very happy. And he said, sure, hold it. And then Swami looked at that boy and Swami said, see, that's all. And this boy was he was feeling so bad. He said, Swami, I'm so sorry. I should have been the one to get up and hold it for you. But then I don't know, I just missed it. And then he started praying. He said, Swami, give me another interview. I will show you that I'm ready for you, You tell me and I'm ready. He was not sure he will get another interview. But then he was praying, he was crying, he was like, he felt really bad. And then that interview got over, and the next day, luckily, Swami called the students, the new students, inside. And he was one of them. And then he was so happy that Swami called. And then this time, his all focus was on the vibhuti bag. The moment Swami finishes speaking, I will be the first one to run and hold that for him. And he didn't even listen to what Swami spoke. He was not concentrating on that. He was half seated, he was in standing position because before anybody does it, I would be the one to do it So what happened was Swami spoke to the boys. He gave a lot of tips, and then he stood up and he said, okay, I'll give you some vibhuti. And this boy, before even Swami finished telling about Vibhuti bags, he ran and he held the Vibhuti bag, and then Swami was like, what are you doing? And then this boy held it and Swami said, very happy, he said. So, so much of love. When Swami said that, this boy was looking, and then Swami looked at another boy and he said, see. So, this way the teaching goes on eternally. Constant integrated awareness. So, Swami's teachings, the nature of it is such that they are done so subtly. If you miss it, you missed it. But he will not allow you to miss it if it were you to learn. Now, a little bit of the philosophy side I would like to touch upon. Most of the time when these tests come on us, the examination of life really befalls, we are questioned, by Swami. Swami, why me? Why me? A student fails, Swami, why me? A person is struck with cancer, Swami, why of all people, why should I suffer? And then we have lots of fights and all that mentally with Swami. Why did you choose me to suffer in this world? But then we miss out a beautiful part of it, that we are suffering because of our karma and not because of Swami. Swami is not the one to give. So here, Swami, I would like to just, mention about a famous tennis player, Arthur Ashe. He was the first African-American tennis player who really won 3 Grand Slam titles, and he was very unfortunately struck with, a lot of operations, and he underwent so many surgeries, and finally he was struck with AIDS. And he was in the hospital, and the AIDS that was caused to him was due to blood transfusion, actually. And then he started receiving a lot of letters from his fans and family members, why Arthur, why it's you? Why did God choose you to have this? You are such a famous player. Then he gave a very profound answer. He said, every year, 50 million children start playing tennis all over the world. Of them, 50 lakhs learn to play good tennis. Out of them, only 5 lakhs learn to play professional tennis. And 50,000 somehow manage to reach the circuit. 5,000 reach the Grand Slam. 50 reach the Wimbledon. And 4 only reach the semi-finals. And finally, only 2 reach the finals. And that day when I held the Wimbledon cup in my hand, I won the tennis match. I didn't stand and ask God, why me? And today when I'm struck with this disease, I have no right to ask, why me? That is the way of acceptance of our own karma. And once we do it, God is there. As Doctor mentioned, that we have faith in our drivers, we have faith in our pilots, we have faith in the barbers, that he's not going to cut. But we don't have faith in God, who is the real driver of our life. So I think it's already time, though I had some more to share, but I am very fortunate, and I'm really thankful to all of you to have this much patience to listen to my experiences with Swami. And I pray at least some of it we will remember sometime and try to practice. Thank you so much, Saira.
Thank you again, sister. This why me syndrome is something that afflicts every one of us almost equally. As doctor would probably attest, this is the one disease that affects all humans. And especially when we come into Swami's fold and we do all these wonderful service activities and sing bhajans, somehow implicitly the mind assumes that therefore suffering will go away. And lo and behold, we find that if anything, suffering only seems to increase apparently. I remember a very touching episode from the Ramayana. Lord Rama and his brother Lakshmana, when they're in the forest during the exile years, once in the morning have walked a very long distance and haven't really found water. They eventually reach the banks of a river and are about to perform their afternoon ablutions. And so just before they enter into the river to have their ablutions, they stick their bows and arrows onto the wet banks of the river and they go into the water. They finish their prayers to the sun god in the afternoon. And when they return back to the bank and then they pull their bow out of the wet sand, suddenly Lakshmana recognizes that the bottom part of Lord Rama's bow is drenched in blood. And so he points to his brother and says, "Brother, why is your bow dripping with blood?" And then they both look down and they see that there is a frog that had been sitting on the banks, and unbeknownst to Lord Rama, apparently, when he stuck his bow into the sands, it pierced the frog and the frog started bleeding. But there was not a sound that came when this happened. And so Lord Rama says to the frog, "Why did you not shriek? Why did you not call out for help?" And the frog then says, "Oh Lord, whenever I'm in fear of the world or get hurt by the world, I call out your name. But when it is you himself who are causing this hurt, who can I call out to? And if it is meant that I should suffer through your hands, you must know why." So this why me syndrome, the best antidote to that is to recognize that everything in this world is divine order. Everything in this world is his will.